Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Sadashiva Samabhadam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhavatu Sahaviryam Karvavahai
Tejasvinavaditamastu ma
Vishawahai. Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
So we will continue with where we left off. This is the 17th verse of the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Geeta, which we will chant. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha
Shri Bhagavana
Sahasra Yuga Paryantam
Sahasra Yuga Paryantam
Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu
Ahariya Brahmano Viduhu
Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam
Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam
Eho Ratra Vido Janaha.
Devo Ratra Vidojana.
Okay, I'm just muting you all. So here now, basically what is being discussed is Brahmaji's lifespan. Okay, so we're talking about Brahmaji, remember? This is Lord Brahmaji, Hiranyagarbha. And just to reiterate, when you say Brahma, it is Brahma. The A is long, right? While when you say Brahma, Brahma is Brahman. And Brahma is Chaturmukha Brahma, that is Hiranyagarbha, Lord Brahmaji. The difference is Lord Brahmaji is finite. He's got a beginning and an end. Brahman is infinite. So here we are talking about Brahma, Lord Brahmaji. So here, just a brief background. The duration of Lord Brahmaji's life, of Hiranyagarbha's life, according to the scripture, is called a Chatur Yuga. Right? Chatur Yuga is also called Mahayuga. I request all of y'all to please do not unmute yourself. Okay, it disturbs the recordings. So, as I was saying, the duration of Brahmaji's life is called a Chatur Yuga. It's also called a Mahayuga. And this, of course, this what you call measurement is in terms of human days and years, right? And therefore, one Chatur Yuga for Brahmaji actually let us say human beings Chatur Yuga. 1000 Chatur Yugas of a human being is supposed to be equal to 1 day of Brahmaji. So 1 day of Brahmaji, 1000 Chatur Yugas. 1 night of Brahmaji is 1000 Chatur Yugas. These are all measurements as applicable to human lives. And there are 4 yugas, you are all aware. So Satya Yoga, Treta Yoga, Dwapara Yoga, and the current one, Kala Yoga. Right? Kala Yoga is supposed to be 432,000 human years. That is 432,000 human years. That is Kala Yoga. And the conversion is pretty simple. Dwapara, you look at the word Dwa, twice. So twice of Kala Yoga, that is 432,000 into 2. So 864,000 years is the Dwapara Yoga, right? And Treta Yoga, as the word Treta implies, 3 times. So 3 times Kali Yoga, that is 432,000 into 3, which makes it 12,96,000 years. That is Treta Yoga. And the Satya Yoga, also called the Krita Yoga, is 4 times. That is 17 lakhs and something, 17 lakhs and 28,000 years. Okay. So if you look at it, you take Kali Yuga as the basic basis of measurement, and Kali Yuga is 4 lakh 32,000 years. Dwapara is twice that. Treta is thrice that. And Satya is, or Krita is 4 times that. And therefore, the Chatur Yuga is, as the name implies, all the 4 yugas, right? So the time frame covered by all the 4 yugas, Satya plus Treta plus Dwapara plus Kali Yuga, that is one Chatur Yuga. So how many years is that? You can count and see. Kala is 1, Dwa is 2, so that is 3. Then Treta is 3, so that is 3 plus 3 is 6. And Satya Yoga is 4 times, 6 plus 4, 10, right? So 10 times of a Kali Yoga is 1 Chatur Yoga. So that is 4 lakh, that is 43 lakhs 20,000 years. And 1 Mahayoga is 1,000 times that. That is 1 Mahayoga, or one, what we call basically Chatur Yoga, the Mahayoga is 10 times that, 1,000 times that, sorry. So it goes into some 4.3 billion years, right? The complication is the too many numbers, so I'm not going into that. Essentially, you look at 1 Chatur Yuga, it is equal to that 4.32 billion years into 2, because the night is also there. 8.64 billion into 365 into 100. So some 300 and odd trillion years is the span of 1 Chatur Yuga, right? Now we are not going to that, and don't try to correlate that with how many how many millions of years the earth has been running and all that. There's no correlation at all. So this is just what Shastra says. We take it as that. So, and what is the present age of Brahmaji? That Shastra says that currently Brahmaji is in the 51st year or so. So we got 49 more years of this current Brahmaji to go, right? Anyway, to cut a long story short, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Sahasra means 1,000. 1,000 Chatur Yugas. The yuga here has to be understood Chatur Yugas. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Paryantam means extending to. So he's talking about Brahmaji's day. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, extending to 1,000 Chatur Yugas. Brahmanaha Ahaha. Aha means day. So that means 1 day of Brahmaji, which is 12 hours basically, is 1,000 Chatur Yugas. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Similarly, Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam. Another 1,000 Chatur Yugas will be the duration of the night. Okay, so this is what is being said. 1,000 Chatur Yugas are the day, 1,000 Chatur Yugas are the night for Lord Brahmaji. Chatur Yugas in terms of the time frame applicable to human beings. And how is this known? How do we know this? He says, Vidaha Janaha. Aho Ratra Vidaha Janaha. So, Janaha Vidaha, those people who have studied the scriptures where all these matters are talked about, they know that this is the lifespan of, this is the day and the night of Brahmaji. They go across so many years. Essentially, even though in huge number of years are being talked about, what is the message to be extracted from here? We are talking about trillions of years, right? He's saying Brahmaji's 1 day is so much. So Brahmaji's lifetime is in several trillions of years. That is fine. But what is the message that we should take away from here?
It's still limited in time.
Still Brahmaji is limited in time, right? And when you say Brahmaji's lifespan is limited, maybe in trillions of years, but it is finite. You are also saying that Brahma Loka is limited. right? Brahmaloka also gets destroyed. So the essential meaning to be taken away from here is that Brahman is finite, infinite, but Hiranyagarbha as well as Brahmaloka also has a beginning, also has an end. Very simple understanding for this rather complex little verse. Then, verse number 18, we chant. Avyakta vyaktaya sarvaha
Avyaktadyataya
Avyaktadyataya
sarvaha
sarvaha
bhavantyharagame
prabhavantya
prabhavantyaharagame
prabhavantyharagame
prabhavantyaharagame
prabhavantyaharagame
ratriagame praliyante
Ratriyagami
ratyagame
praliyante
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 tatraiva vyakta sanyake
tatraiva
tatraivavyaktasanyake.
vyaktasanyake
Sanyake.
So he is continuing with creation. So he is saying sarvaha vyaktaha. Vyakta means manifest. Sarvaha vyaktaha means all manifested beings. Okay, now here he has not distinguished between conscious and non-conscious, living and non-living beings. So that you must remember. Sarvaha vyaktaha, all manifested beings. Agame ahaha. Aharagame is to be taken as ahaha agame. Agame aharaga aha agame. Agame means at the approach, at the beginning. Ahaha means daytime. So aharagame is ahaha agame. At the beginning of the day, sarve vaktaha, all manifested beings, both inanimate and animate. Beginning of whose day? We are talking about Brahmaji's day, okay, not the human day. So sarve vyaktaha brahmanaha aharagame. At the approach of the beginning of the day of Lord Brahmaji, sarva vyaktaha, all these manifested beings, avyaktat prabhavanti. Prabhavanti means emerge from. Avyaktaham means unmanifest. So what he is saying is all manifested beings at the beginning of the day of Lord Brahmaji, all manifested beings, they emerge from the unmanifest. And then the second line, Ratriagame, that is Ratrihi Agame, when the night of Lord Brahmaji is coming, Tatra eva praliyante. They enter that very same manifest, the very same unmanifest, which is called avyakta sanyake. Sanyake means called. Prabhavanti tatra eva, into that which is called unmanifest. So tatra is that. So ratri agame, at the approach of night, all sarvaha vyaktaha, all manifested beings which were manifested in the beginning of Lord Brahmaji's day, tatra eva praliyanti, they enter that very same place which is called avyaktaha, avyakta sanyake. Okay, so now we need to understand something here. Shankara says here, avyaktat means the sleeping state of Hiranyagarbha. Okay, it's because we are talking about Lord Brahmaji, Shankara relates it to that. And he says avyaktam has to be understood as Brahmaji's sleeping state. Right? And here also when we say avyaktam, we have to note that there are two avyaktams. So one is the sleeping, the night of Brahmaji, when he goes to sleep. Right? And that is temporary, because after Chatur Mahayugas, he gets up. Right? So when Brahmaji goes to sleep and gets up, that is a avyaktam, which is a smaller avyaktam. And we have to talk about another avyaktam which we scriptures talk about, Maha Avyaktam, the Maha Pralayam, where the Brahma Loka itself dissolves. And how do we know? Because he said earlier that there is a limited lifespan for Lord Brahmaji and therefore for Brahma Loka also. So there are two avyaktams. One is Brahmaji's night, and one is when Brahma Loka itself dissolves. And here, which are we talking about? He is talking about the smaller avyaktam, the mini avyaktam, in which Brahmaji is going to sleep. So he says, during the time of Brahmaji's night, the whole creation goes into unmanifest state. And this is what is meant. Sarvaha vyaktaha praliyante. All these individuals are resolved. They enter the unmanifest state. Avyakta sanyake. This state is called unmanifest. Right? Why we are talking about unmanifest and not about destruction? Because matter cannot be destroyed. We all know E is equal to mc squared. Matter cannot be destroyed. Therefore, the entire universe at the time of pralayam gets converted into unmanifest matter. We can think of it as energy also, prakriti, avyakta maya. This is Brahmaji's night. And what happens when he wakes up? Ahara agame, ahaha agame. When he wakes up, sarvaha vyaktaha. All these become manifest and they are coming out of avyaktat. They are coming out of this unmanifest state. When night comes, again they get resolved. Okay. Now Krishna uses the word prabhavanti over here. Prabhavanti haragame. So prabhavanti aha agame. Prabhavanti literally means born. Now there is a problem with this, right? Because we are just saying that there is only a manifestation and unmanifestation. So Shankara in his commentary says that you have to understand Prabhavanti as Abhivijanti, which means to get manifest. Shankara says, don't think of Prabhavanti as being born, think of it as manifesting. The invisible Jiva, the invisible universe, is converted to the visible universe. The Avyakta Srishti is converted to Vyakta Srishti. The non-dual is converted into duality. And therefore activity begins. Okay. Also remember that there is another name for this time frame which is called the night or the day of Brahmaji. It is called Kalpa. So every Kalpa, the Srishti comes, and every Kalpa, the Srishti disappears also. And that is, we have said this several times before, therefore, that creation Srishti is always cyclic. It is never linear. If we want to understand the scriptures, we have to be able to look from a cyclic viewpoint. If a linear thinking is our mode of thinking, it is impossible to understand the scriptures. Okay. So when Shankara says manifest, an important idea is being conveyed. The word birth or originate or create, these are all wrong words, because nothing can be created, nothing can be destroyed. Then, because if you use the word birth or create, then you can ask a question, why did Bhagavan create the world? That's the problem with using the word create. That question itself is coming because of the usage of a wrong word, create. The idea is what? Bhagavan never created the world. Why? Because it is impossible for him to create the world. Why is that so? Because matter can never be created. Matter can never be destroyed. And therefore, this idea that we have, that creation begins, that Bhagavan created the world, is the fundamental mistake in thinking. And it leads to several questions, several illogical questions, right? And as you know, a question which is illogical cannot be answered logically. All you can do is to point out the logical error in that question. And therefore, here when somebody says created, why did Bhagavan create? What is the answer? Bhagavan never created. Bhagavan cannot create because the Jagat is matter. Matter can never be created or destroyed. Therefore, we should replace the word creation with the word manifestation. Replace the word destruction with unmanifestation. So manifestation, unmanifestation, this is an eternal process. And Ishvara is not responsible for this. This is the nature of Maya. When Maya is in avyakta avastha, it is called Jagat. Sorry, it's called Pralayam or called Maya itself. And when Maya is in vyakta avastha, in manifest condition, it is called the Jagat. So unmanifest condition, Maya. Manifest condition, Jagat. Both are Maya only, but in different states. One is avyakta avastha, one is vyakta avastha. And how does it happen? It happens in Brahman's presence. So Brahman is the original consciousness, the OC. In the presence of the OC, Maya is the RM. The RC is generated in the OC. The RC is generated in the RM, sorry. Maya is the RM. When Maya comes into contact with OC, because of the contact of OC and RM, what happens? RC is generated. So this Maya which has got RC is the Maya which is capable of becoming manifest and capable of becoming unmanifest, which we call expansion or contracting, birth or death, creation, destruction. All these are words we use to indicate the activity of Maya which has RC in it. What is Brahman's role? Brahman's role is simply to lend existence and consciousness. Brahman doesn't create. Brahman's role is to lend existence, consciousness, and Ananda, of course, to Maya. With this borrowed Satchidananda, Maya can become the universe, and the universe can become Maya. Remember that when you say Brahman lends, there is no activity. The lend being used as a verb, but it is the very nature. Like when you stand in front of the fire, you feel hot, not because fire is lending you heat, but it is the nature of your body to feel the heat in front of a heat source. Similarly, it is the nature of Maya to reflect OC in the presence of Brahman. Nobody can stop this process, not even Ishvara. And therefore, here Krishna is saying that it is the very nature of Maya to move from avyakta avastha to vyakta avastha and vyakta avastha to avyakta avastha. Nobody can stop that process. It is cyclic. Therefore, it's wrong to say that Ishvara creates or Ishvara destroys. Ishvara has nothing to do with that matter. Okay, one small point here. Somewhere in the Puranas, it is said that when Hiranyagarbha wakes up, when Brahmaji wakes up, it takes, like we just said, 1000 Chaturyugas, that is one kalpa, is his daytime, right? So he has one entire kalpa to be available, it's available for him before the night comes and before he goes to sleep. So 1000 Chaturyugas are available for him for activity before his night comes. Now, Puranas say that just like when we get up in the morning, we spend some time, immediately you don't start jumping out of bed, you stretch, you pull your hands together, open your eyes, take a few deep breaths. So it takes some time for you to get out of bed, right? Similarly, Brahmaji also, after waking up, takes a little bit of time to become active, to get out of bed, so to say. And the Purana says that that time is 3 Chaturyugas. It takes Brahmaji 3 Chaturyugas between waking up and becoming active. So in the 4th Chaturyuga, he will get up from the bed and the world will start being manifested or created. Similarly, at night also, when we go to sleep, we don't fall asleep immediately. We lie down and unwind. Brahmaji also takes a little bit of time to unwind. That is also another 3 Chaturyugas. So out of the 1,000 Chaturyugas of the daytime, 3 plus 3, 6 are gone lying in bed. How many are left? 994 Chaturyugas. So these 994 Chaturyugas are divided into what is called Manvantaras. There are 14 Manvantara. Called a Manvantara because each of these time periods is presided over by one Manu. So the entire, active part of the Kalpa, which is 994 Chaturyugas, is divided into 14. That means there are 14 Manvantras, which makes each Manvantara equal to about 71 Chaturyugas, right? So there are 71 Chaturyugas called, each of them called a Manvantara. Each one of this is presided over by one Manu. And of course, we are supposed to be in the 7th Manvantara, which is why I said Brahmaji is roughly around 51 years old, right? Because 14 divided by 2. Okay, so we should remember that at the end of Brahmaji's 100 years of Brahmaji's life, which is the end of the 1,000 Chaturyugas, 1,000 into 365 into 100. That is the total life period. So that is Brahmaji's years. Brahmaloka is also destroyed. What remains is Brahman alone. And therefore, Brahmaji and Brahmaloka, since they are they are subject to arrival and departure, they are also ultimately mithya. Which is why Krishna says that I, Brahman, am the only survivor finally. And you are that Brahman. You better understand that as quickly as possible. So I'll take a small break here in case anybody has a question. Nothing very heavy is here, but some interesting ideas.
Acharya.
Yes, Jun.
So in the verse, they say that at the beginning of the day, all these manifested beings, living and not non-living beings, can we call the non-living objects also beings? Or why is Krishna referring like things as beings?
Bhutani doesn't mean conscious beings. Bhutani is what is made out of elements.
Okay.
Panchabhutani, right?
Okay.
Panchabhutani is 5 elements. Whatever is made out of them is a bhut.
Okay.
So can be living, can be non-living.
Mhm.
Living if it has got a subtle body, non-living if it has not got a subtle body. Ultimately, all are Panchabhutani only.
Thank you.
Oh, Acharya. So
Yeah.
when you're saying that at the end of Brahma Loka, what remains is only Brahman.
Yes.
So we are saying it is Brahman and Maya in the unmanifest form. That is what is
Brahman
remaining.
and Maya and the unmanifest form. Because Maya can never be destroyed.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, so we will look at verse number 19. Bhutagramasa evayam
Bhutagramas evayam
Ramasa evayam
bhutva praliyate
Bhutva bhutva praliyate
ratriagame vashah partha
Ratriagame
Ratriyagame vashah partha
prabhavatyah ragame.
prabhavatyah ragame.
So again, the same idea is being talked about. Saha eva ayam bhutagramaha. So that first 3 words you rearrange. Saha eva ayam bhutagramaha. Bhutagramaha means this collection of bhutaha, collection of beings. Sa eva ayam bhutagramaha. This very same group of beings, avashaha bhutva is helplessly born. Avashaha, helplessly born. Bhutva, repetition means born again and again. So he's saying this same group of beings is helplessly born again and again. And Ratri Agame Praliyante, they enter the Avyakta state when the night of Brahmaji falls. And Ahaha Agame Prabhavati, they re-emerge when the day of Brahmaji comes. So universe goes into unmanifest condition together with all the jivas, together with all the non-living beings. It goes into unmanifest condition. It remains in that unmanifest, potentially manifest condition. Remember, unmanifest here has to be taken as potentially manifest, because though it is unmanifest, it has got the potential for becoming manifest again. So it remains in that potential form for 1000 Chaturyugas. When Brahmaji wakes up again the jivas, same group of jivas, that's what he's saying, same group of jivas, again the same jivas will emerge, will manifest, own karmas will be there, punyam and papam will be intact because they have not been exhausted. Right? And somebody might say, okay, what does this pralayam feel like? That each one of us gets a taste of that every single day in Sushupti Avastha. During Sushupti Avastha, your individuality is gone, your ahankara is not there, you don't know that you are ignorant, you don't know that you're knowledgeable, you don't know that you're happy, you don't know that you're unhappy, everything is resolved. But they are dormant, they are not destroyed. How do you know they are dormant? Because you will get up next day and you will remember everything that was there in the previous day. So in the same way, during Pralayam, all the jivas, they go into potential company, in the potential condition, and they come back in the next creation. So this is what he says, Saha eva ayam bhuta gramaha. The same set of jivas, they will all go into the potential dormant condition, and the same set of jivas will come back. Right? So bhutva praliyate, they will go back into unmanifest condition, and they will also come back. Avashaha prabhavati aharagame, they will come back again. And by using the word bhutva, Krishna is telling us that this is a cycle, that it will never change, it will never stop. And by using the words Sa eva ayam bhutagramaha, the same set of jivas, he is saying that no new jiva is created. It is the same set of jivas constantly being created, being born, constantly dying, recycling, if you want to use the word. They are constantly being recycled. And when you use the word jiva, we are not saying only human beings, all living beings, mosquitoes, insects, plants, bacteria, whatever. And not only upon this earth, upon all the planets, right? And therefore, some idea should be clear from here. When no new jivas can be created, there is a reason. Because if a new jiva has to be created, the assumption is that he was not present before. And if he was not present before, he had no karma at all. No sanchita karma is there. Therefore, how can Bhagavan give a body? Based on what? Because bodies are given based on the law of karma, on your past karma. The Easwara does not decide our bodies at random. It is determined by Purva karma alone. And a fresh jiva will obviously not have any earlier karma. Therefore, if you say a new jiva is being created, there is a problem with the theory itself. That is one thing. And therefore we say all jivas are anadis. Since all jivas are beginningless, the question of first creation cannot be asked, because creation itself, Srishti, is cyclical. Right? Okay. Then another question which often comes up. You are saying fresh jivas are not created. Fine. But then, will not there be a problem? Because in every Srishti, some jivas become jnanis and they are not reborn. That means over many, many Srishtis. And then, since you are saying there are infinite number of Srishtis, over many, many Srishtis, are not the number of jivas decreasing? That means in every kalpa, the number of jivas are coming down and fresh jivas are not being created. So sometime in the future, maybe many, many Srishtis later, the last jiva will be liberated. And then you say fresh jiva cannot be created. Therefore, Bhagavan alone will be there. Will he not feel lonely? What is the answer?
Acharya, may I try?
Please.
So essentially, one, creation is mithya only. Secondly, because it is anadi, it is from the standpoint of vyavaharik that we are thinking in these terms. From the paramarthik point of view, there is no relevance to these questions.
Agreed. But we are what you call studying, so it is all vyavaharik only. So vyavaharik reply is what? If in every jiva, in every srishti, some jivas are liberated, right? And you are not creating fresh jivas because you say they cannot be created. Then what happens when the last jiva goes? There will be no more srishti at all. Then that itself is a contradiction because you are saying srishti is cyclic.
Yeah. We say that the number of jivas is also infinite. So
Explain.
it's not just the jivas, like you just said, it's not just the humans, but also the animals, plants. It's also all the millions of microorganisms that we don't see. And because Maya is also infinite, the unmanifest. Karana Sharinam is also infinite. So number of jivas is also infinite.
Yes. So when you say jivas are infinite, you have to go back to simple mathematics. Infinite minus infinite is how much?
Infinite.
Infinite minus infinite is infinite. So by the very use of the word infinite, you are saying that it can never reduce. It will always remain infinite. That is the argument. And Shankara actually comments on this and he says this law is extremely important, but not only for this reason. He says, supposing for argument's sake, you think that the current jivas all will die at the time of pralayam, right? And you say that we don't accept that the infinite jivas will remain infinite, and you say that let us say that after infinite number of creations, srishtis, there comes a time when only 10 jivas are left, and those 10 jivas will get mukti, will get jivan mukti during that creation, and therefore there are no more jivas who are there at the time of the particular kalpa ending. When pralayam is there for that kalpa, all jivas are permanently dead because mukti has taken place. Then what will happen? Creation cannot stop, right? Because creation is said to be cyclic. So in the next creation, you will have necessarily, Bhagavan will necessarily have to create a fresh set of jivas. So the creation will be there. And if that is there, then Shankara says there will be three problems. The first one he calls Kritva Vipranashaha. Means, Kritva here means Sanchita Karma. So he says, if you are presuming that, then you are saying that there is going to be some destruction of Sanchita Karma without the phalam having taken place. So current jivas, let us say during this kalpa, would have exhausted several punyam and papams, right? Some of them will get mukti. But at the time of the ending of the kalpa, there would be a mixture of jivas. Some who have got mukti and therefore will not be reborn. but some who have got a lot of unexhausted sanchita. And if you accept that these jivas also get destroyed and are not reborn, then what will happen? The sanchita punya papam of these jivas would have been destroyed without having given fruit. This is a moral deficiency, because it is violating the law of karma, that every jiva will have to pay for his karmas. And if that happens, then many jivas will be encouraged to do lots of violations. What is the logic? At the end of the kalpa, anyway, that will be all written off, right? So I am going to be free anyway. So that is, if you accept that mukti can take place without actually having exhausted all the karmas. That is one way. That is one defect. The second defect is, he says that since Bhagavan is creating an entirely new set of jivas, he is creating without the karma, right? So when the next set of jivas are created, they have to be given different types of bodies. But how will he decide which jiva will get animal body, which jiva will get plant body, which jiva will get a healthy body, which jiva will get a unhealthy body? How will he decide? Because normally the law of karma decides that, Bhagavan doesn't decide, right? But these new jivas will not have punya papam because they are new jivas, and therefore Brahmaji has to randomly allocate punyam and papam. This will again become moral deficiency, because for no bad karma, some people will receive defective bodies. And for no good karma, some people will get very good bodies. And therefore, that is why Krishna says in this sloka that sa evayam, the same set of jivas are created, are born again and again. You cannot have a new set of jivas at all. And the third defect Shankara points out is that he says, if during the kalpa all jivas get destroyed, and therefore you are saying that all the punya papam also get destroyed, all sanchita karma also get destroyed, it means that at the end of a particular kalpa, all jivas will get mukti, because the punya papam is also getting destroyed, right? Because you're saying that jivas are totally destroyed. They are not going into avyakta avastha. And therefore, again, this moral defect, because then there is no need of shastram at all. There is no need of doing any sadhana at all. You just have to wait for sufficient time, and then you will get liberated. Shankara says that if this was possible, then the Vedanta Shastram is of no use at all. And Ishvara would not have created or given us the Shastram at all, right? Because if you don't require sadhana, then you don't require karma yoga, you don't require upasana yoga, you don't require shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. You only have to keep on going through various births and deaths and tolerate till the end of this particular kalpa only. And when kalpa comes, anyway, you are going to get moksha. Right? So this, Shankara says, this particular verse negates all that and establishes the moral order. And you can use this word, actually you can use this verse to counter the atheistic argument, which is what? If you say there is a God and God is omnipotent and compassionate, how do you account for all the evils of the world, all the natural calamities of the world? Therefore, there cannot be any such God at all. Everything is random. This is the argument of the atheist. And if you understand Advaita, it says this is not correct. Whatever happens, happens because governed by the physical orders of creation, the moral orders of creation. Both the natural laws and the moral laws have to be adhered to, have to be maintained. And to maintain the moral order, karma phalam has to be exhausted, the only exception being moksha. Therefore, different events are based on the moral order of punyam and papam. And it is the punyam and papam of jivas which is responsible for whatever events, good or bad, happen in this universe to them. Bhagavan is the You can say Ishvara is the cause of whatever happens, all right. But Ishvara is Samanya Karanam. What is Vishesha Karanam? Vishesha Karanam is karma. And atheists, the atheistic view comes out because they ignore the Vishesha Karanam. If you ignore Vishesha Karanam, that is the law of karma, you will become an atheist. To understand Bhagavan, to understand Ishvara, to understand the law of karma, you have to understand the difference between Samanya Karanam and Vishesha Karanam. Ishvara is only Samanya Karanam, the general cause. The specific cause is always karma. Once you understand that, then you understand Shastram. And therefore Krishna says, Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. They go on resolving. All the jivas go on resolving. Avashaha. That they are helplessly. Pralayam will not save you. Even Mahapralayam will not give you moksha. The jivas will survive. Right? How? Because of Sanchita Karma. So Sanchita Karma is there, and therefore you will survive as a Karana Shariram. After Mahapralayam also you will survive as Karana Shariram together with Sanchita Karma. So that Karana Shariram carries all Sanchita Karma that we have, and that is always indestructible, destroyed only through moksha. Right? And if you ask, how did Sanchita Karma come? Then Shankara writes, Avidyadi Klesha Mulaha. The Klesha reminds you of what? Avidya, etc. Klesha. What should it remind you of?
Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the kleshas,
Pancha Kleshas.
Abhinivinesha, Raga, Dvesha,
Yeah. The
Avidya,
Pancha Kleshas are there. Avidya, Asmita, Raga,
Asmita, Abhivini.
Dvesha, Abhinivesha. What are they meaning? Avidya means it's a moolam. It is a avidya moola. It is the root cause. And out of this avidya is born asmita. Asmita means ahankara. Ahankara means I am in the triangular format, right? In our language. So avidya leads to asmita, and asmita, ahankara leads to raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is an instinctive attachment to your body and an instinctive fear of death. So that can also be called as the constant sense of insecurity. So this constant sense of insecurity we are always having from the day we are born. Not only that, it will only grow stronger and stronger as we increase in age. As we grow older, Abhinivesha goes stronger and stronger. And because of Raga Dvesha, we do karma. Because of karma, we get Punyam and Papam. Because of Punyam and Papam, we get rebirth. Because of rebirth, the whole cycle of Raga Dvesha begins again. Right? So note that the first line of this sloka, it is the same meaning as the 18th sloka, where it says it is the same set of jivas. No new jivas are added. No new jivas are born. Right? Okay. Then there is a Purvapakshi who stands up and says, all right, I accept you saying that no new jiva is born. I am born again and again and again. If I am born again and again and again, that means I never die. Right? A person who is born again and again and again, he never dies. So I am already immortal. Person who never dies, already immortal. And therefore, why should I study Vedanta? What is the answer to that? Because you are telling me that by studying Vedanta, you will achieve immortality. But here Krishna himself says that I am born again and again and again. That itself is immortality. What is the advantage of studying Veda for me? What should be the answer to that? The answer is explicit in this 19th verse, in a particular word. Can you locate that?
Helplessly?
Helplessly. Avashaha. Because you are immortal, there's no doubting that. But your journey is helpless right now because it is controlled by karma. Right? So if you are under somebody else's control, you cannot set to be free. You are immortal, all right, but you are helplessly immortal. You are completely under the control of somebody else. It is like, not having food voluntarily for one day. So when it is voluntary under your own control, it is called fasting. It's a sadhana. But when you don't have food because food is not available, the net effect is the same. You're still not having food, but it is called starvation. It's not sadhana anymore. So when you do something with freedom, that is real immortality. When that immortality is forced onto you and under somebody else's control, then it is bondage. So Jiva is also eternal. Brahman is also eternal. We are saying yes, we agree. But immortality governed by karma is called samsara. Immortality out of the reach of karma is called moksha. That is the difference. And we should be very, very clearly aware of that. You are anywhere immortal. That you should know. Because you are not the body-mind complex. You are immortal. But as long as your rebirth takes place, you are immortal, all right. But you are governed, we are under the shackles of karma. Therefore, you are in samsara. When you have freed yourself from that, then you are not governed by karma. You just are. That immortality is moksha. Okay, any questions? We'll stop here for today. So,
Sir.
yeah.
Sorry. Sir, the word Prabhavantya Haragami and Prabhavatya Haragami.
Yeah.
Any difference, sir, in 18 and 19?
It's a number. One is singular, one is plural.
Okay, sir. Vantya Haragami will be plural.
Pravanti will be plural.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
Sir, when we say that all jnanis, I mean, over a period of time, people who gain jnanam, then there is no rebirth. Then slowly everybody will disappear. Then what happens? I mean, I really haven't understood. Then will they all be born as same?
Anybody want to explain that to Induji? Spandana? You gave the answer, so you should be able to explain.
I didn't fully understand the question. Will they all be born the same? You asked Induji?
Yes, I mean, I'm just wondering. That's something I haven't understood. Because there will be no...
Induji is saying that if everybody becomes a jnani, then what? And then still people are being born. Then is it true that they are being reborn? That is the question that she's asking.
Okay. So what we were just saying was everyone cannot become jnanis because the number of jivas itself is infinite. So there will always be jivas with karma left to be reborn.
Induji, understood?
Which is in line with the permanent and cyclical nature of creation.
Okay.
What
So
is
the
being
very
said?
word everyone is not correct.
What is being said that the very word infinite means that infinite can never be exhausted.
Okay.
So even the infinite number of people become jnanis, what is left over is still infinite number of ajnanis who will continue to be born. The meaning of the word infinite is very important. Infinite means that which can never be exhausted. You can take away infinite from infinite, you will still be left with infinite.
Okay. Can never be exhausted. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so with this we'll stop. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamedeva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Om
Thank you,
Shivaya.
Acharya.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.